Greeting interwebs, this is Jackie K and welcome to another edition of Pokemon Colosseum. Last time I showed off Mount Battle, but the last plot related thing to occur was us pursuing after Lady Venus and failing at it. However, we did happen to get this main gate key which will be useful into getting into the lab. I also realized I never showed off the U-Disc, so before we get into that, let's see what this U-Disc will do. Because I would think if I went the whole playthrough without doing this. I know the first time I played Pokemon Colosseum, actually a lot of my early times playing Pokemon Colosseum, I guess I just never realized that this existed. Which is odd considering how easy it is to find. But I guess I just didn't go far enough back. Which sucks because what we get out of it is a really useful item. Especially if you do plan on purifying all the shit out of Pokemon in the game. After noting how much we're actually moving besides up, like we went a little right to the left, there's a time flute in here. This really hidden area of the game. Nothing else worth of note, so I suppose we can go back down. Although now this makes two time flutes that we have to use, even though it only shows one there, because I put the other time flute into the PC. Remember, this is still a third generation game, so you still had a limited inventory. And had to store your miscellaneous items in the PC. This time flute will probably go into the PC soon enough. It does make you wonder how many. Guess now we just have to go forward and we can progress onward with the game. Before we do that though, I really want to stop by the herbal shop and pick up those revival herbs. I get the feeling they'll be incredibly useful for me. But now with that out of the way, now we can finally head towards that mysterious shadow Pokemon lab and hopefully do something about it. Because between the diversion of going to Mount Battle in the last episode and the 2-week time period at the very minimum between that episode and this episode, I think we've given the villains enough of vacation. And their justice has been well overdue. First, making sure that there's no items along the outside that we would possibly miss if we went straight in and charged. I'm pretty sure there's at least one item. I can see it already. If Watson really put their feet into overdrive, we might be able to get to that item before 10 minutes and figure out what it is. Ta-da! Is a pair of revives, 3 revives. You know, that brings up something. I'm pretty sure Pokemon Colosseum and maybe XD, they're the only games I can think of that like have multiple items in a single chest. I know quite a few newer Pokemon games give you multiple items. For example, I've been recently playing Pokemon Y, and a trainer gave me 5 of a special kind of Pokeball. I don't remember if they were Dust Balls or one of those other kinds. But the point is, I'm pretty sure that even in that game, I have yet to see an item chest that has multiple items. I like how this game actually establishes that the Pokeballs are in treasure chests, even though the newer Pokemon games still show them as a single Pokeball. Even Y, which is in 3D, still shows the items you get as a Pokeball. Then again, in this game, if you get 3 items from a single Pokeball, that would be a bit odd. Still, I think they should have gone that route with more modern Pokemon games, making them chests that look like a Pokeball, and just using the excuse of, oh, back in those days we just didn't have the graphical capabilities to make them look like treasure chests. But nope, they have to make them look like Pokeballs instead. Oh yeah, there's stuff going on in the game, including pressing a switch, and that'll open up the other side. I was actually gonna go in here first to show you couldn't do anything and then go into the other room, but I keep forgetting that there's a switch that you do here, and that this room is locked by default. So I ended up doing the convenient way first, and not like showing off everything as long as possible. Then again, that has its plus, you guys probably prefer that. So there was that one chest, but was there anything else worthy of note? It doesn't look like it. I guess it's partly because of design and 3D Pokemon game, but I noticed that games like this put a lot of open areas that are completely pointless and lead to dead ends. And the RPG syndrome inside of me keeps wanting to check out those areas and make sure they're not hiding an item there, even if I can see that there's no item in sight. Hello there, Mr. Scientist guy. Why do I get left out behind? There's still packages in lab and— Who are you? Intruders! I will eradicate you out of the system! And that's the abridged version of that whole conversation. Wow, a Voltorb and a Voltorb. How fascinating and indulging of a team you have. At least it's not a team of 6 Magikarps. This fight wouldn't be bad at all if I had more diversity in the type of ground type moves in my disposal, but I'm sure as we progress through the game, I get more ground type moves, via TMs or maybe new party members. I'm sure that will change. In the meantime, we just have to do this the old-fashioned way, and hope that Dig is not completely obsolete yet. So, with a team of Voltorbs, we have the potential for some interesting combinations, like maybe a self-destruct protect combo, or they're gonna just use Spark over and over and paralyze Pokemon while I slowly but surely use Dig on each of them to take them out. I suppose those are all possibilities. I guess you could throw in Swift too. That actually reminds me of the good old days. Granted, first gen wasn't that great of days, but I actually like when Swift was able to hit Pokemon in the air and in the ground and made the move a lot more useful. While I know there's moves like Thunder that hit Pokemon in the air and Earthquake that hit them in the ground, I don't think it would have been that bad to make Swift a move that hits anywhere, because it's a bunch of stars that just fly along. It makes perfect sense that he would be able to hit a Pokemon no matter where it is. If it's in the sky, the stars just go up into the sky. If they're underground, they'll just follow the hole. So, okay, maybe it would make more sense if Swift hit Pokemon in the air and not on the ground, but at least that part of my statement still stands. And I could argue why Swift would hit Pokemon on the ground. It would just be a lot harder to justify why Pokemon would be able to get hit by Swift in the ground than arguing about it being in the air. And then you throw the move Dive into the equation and it just becomes a whole fiasco. Then you have to calculate bounce, and okay, I guess they could just calculate bounce the way they do with Fly, but I've got enough on this topic. I think I've covered all the points, and talking more about it would drag it on. Thankfully, this battle is almost over. Keyword being almost. And we gotta watch the animations of Pokemon fainting to delay the inevitable even longer. Alright, Narani, get in there. You'll be able to get some free experience when the Voltorb goes down. Hopefully this does not backfire. Nope, the Voltorb is down. Everything's all good and dandy. You know, looking at Code Red get that level up makes me think he's gotta be close to evolving soon. The starters generally don't go beyond level 40 before reaching their final evolution. Oh, speaking of, guess who's evolving? Come now, it is time to evolve now. We don't delay. Come on, show who you're gonna be. Actually, just watching that evolution animation reminds me, it has the same issue as the one in Pokemon Y. I mean, granted, I would only consider so much an issue. Only reason I even thought of it that way was because I saw someone complain about it. But first, we got the card keys, so now we can actually go into the depth of the lab. Finish up my story real quick. With Pokemon Y and this game, it seems like in all the 3D Pokemon games, as a matter of fact, you can't really get a preview of what the Pokemon is going to evolve into. So if you have a Pokemon that could evolve in multiple ways, like Eevee, Seeing if it evolves into the EV evolution you want might be a bit of an issue. Granted, in this game there's no evolutions, and in Pokemon XD you practically choose your EV evolution, so it's not an issue for these games, but I've known this was an issue for someone in Pokemon Y. Down here on the other side of the explosion, we could finally get those elixirs. Yes, it was just elixir, but I'm sure that it's better than a potion, for example. With all that out of the way, I think we will explore the other half of this lab in the next part. Oh, but by half I really mean the other 4/5 of this entire place. Cause granted, there's a lot more to the right side of this place than the left side.